What's up, guys? TheSirenSayz back at it again with another House of the Dragon video. Look, I was thinking about how I was gonna do this when I was watching it. Like, am I gonna go character by character like I usually do, or event by event? Let's go arc by arc, because this should be called the Golden Arcs, alright? Because, my god. I will say one thing though. This show is definitely giving more soap opera than Game of Thrones. You know, like, the original show was way more action-packed and less, you know, I guess you could say romantic storylines. It was way more drama, a little bit of relationships here and there, drama, fights, wars, death, blood, gore, you know, atrocities, and then a little bit of relationships and dramas put in between all that. Whereas this show seems to be all drama and relationships, and then there's like war and fights and a little bit of gore put in between all of that. So for me, how did I feel about this episode? Like I've said, these episodes keep getting better and better. There are still things that made me uncomfortable, you know, like Rhaenyra sleeping with Daemon, and then calling him uncle after that, and then marrying him. Look, it is what it is with this show. I'm gonna have to get over it, but I can't. So what did I think about the funeral? That funeral was like one of the weddings that they usually have. It was filled to the brim with, you know, tension. And one thing that I did like about it was when Rhaenyra told her sons to, you know, her oldest son, I think it's Viserys or something, told him to like go over there and be nice to his cousins because they need somebody. Like, well, I deserve pity too. I know that the Lord Strong was my dad. I deserve pity. First of all, it was so annoying to see him act like this, because it's like, first of all, yes, we understand you feel away because your father passed on, but you should have looked to them for comfort while also comforting them. It's not a contest. You're not fighting against Aemon and Aegon. This is not a contest. Relax. Stop being selfish. Okay? The Crown cannot openly mourn the Lords of Harrenhal because they can't openly admit to what everybody already knows. Is that not, you know, common sense? Or, you know, I'm just wondering. But whatever. The kids were fighting today. Sorry. I want to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. Aemond. Wow. Now, the type of person I am, I enjoy a good villain. And the reason why I never thought Daemon was a villain is because he's too ambiguous. He's more of a flawed vigilante. I wouldn't call him an anti-hero because I don't think he's very heroic. But I feel like if he cares about certain people, he's less likely to kill them himself. And that's like as far as it goes, you know? But with Aemond, it's giving Lord Larys. It's giving villainy. Yes, everybody got spoiled with some pictures of the impending episodes. And, you know, everything going on. So we know he has an eye patch. We know he's a villain. But today we got to see his origin story. I was looking at it right. He went up to Vhagar, the big ugly ass dragon. The most frightening looking one, to be very honest, which makes sense. You know, Vhagar looks like a villain's dragon. Like, I'm sorry, that big ass thing, it looks like it's supposed to be written by somebody that you can't trust. Like, come on now. Who are we kidding? Okay? Yes, it was definitely disrespectful, for him to take it when we all know who it was going to be given to? Whoever. He had a little bit of a point, okay? If it was supposed to be yours, you should have jumped on that. Hey. But then, of course, she's grieving, so he's still an asshole. But like I said, villain era. You know? Villain era. So, I am definitely ready to see what his villain era is going to be like. I can't wait for the next time jump, just to see what's going on with them. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be so cool to see. I'm so excited. Now, the fight with the cousins. He came in and chose violence. He was like, I wrote it. He's mine. She's mine. Now that Vhagar's a woman. Not a woman, a female. He was like, Vhagar's mine now. Whoop you. And Baelor, I think is her name, was like, nope, that's mine. Why the fuck did you write it? And then he just started hitting the crap out of these girls. I was like, oh, you're hitting with the... I was like, yep, villain. Villain. You know your children ain't shit when they have a villain arc. Sorry, Alicent. Look, I will always feel a twinge of sympathy for Alicent. Always, you know. We saw what happened to her, but them damn kids, you want to know what they're a sign of? They're a sign of your bad parenting and your mental state, love. He beat the crap out of all of them. He actually went toe to toe. If that nigga didn't stab him in the eye, he might have actually won that fight and somebody would have actually died. Which, you know, the court didn't know, so they didn't take that into account when they were cussing everybody, you know? But, in any case, I think that this is a very interesting arc, because to be honest, the romance and drama thing's getting a little bit boring, and that's coming from me. You know, I only like action when there's superpowers involved, and I'm mostly about the drama, you know. Let me not say that. I do like action when there's no powers involved, but it has to be a very specific blend. But, seeing all these villain arcs, Lord Larys, Aemond, all of that culminating, it is very interesting to see, very interesting to watch. Did you see the way that Aemond is mirroring Lord Larys, you know, to Alicent? Like, when he decided not to tell Viserys that Alicent was the one who let him know about the bastardage. And he just kind of looked at his mom like, you owe me now? I'm like, how you got all these niggas playing you like this? Oh my god. Crazy. And then he walked up to her and started nuzzling up to her like the little asshole he is. I was like, first of all, that's crazy. That's insane in the membrane, isn't it? Crazy. But, yeah, so Aemond is in his villain arc, his villain era. We are excited to see where this story will go and who will get hurt in the process. Looks like Jace is finally sticking up for his cousins because he had to, okay? And those little boys got guts, so at least they learned one thing from their actual dad, because that nigga got guts. I thought, okay, let's just skip forward to Daemon and Rhaenyra. I knew the whole time she wanted to sleep with him. They made it painfully obvious. The way she was staring him down at the wedding. I'm like, if anybody sees you acting like this, I don't know how I'm going to help you. And so, like, while I was there watching it, I was thinking to myself, alright, so what's going to happen, right? You sleep with him, then what? Then all of a sudden she proposes killing Laenor so that they can be together, and I got excited. Not because I want to see Laenor die, but because they're adding a brand new characterization to her and to Alicent. So in the same way she doesn't believe Alicent is capable of murder, she hasn't been shown to be capable of that either. Showing that they both have this darker side to them is very interesting to me, because what it says is that the story is about to get a lot deeper they're both fucked up. Her and Alicent are both fucked up, to be very honest with you. And Rhaenyra was willing to, hatch a plan to get rid of her husband so she could be with Daemon. It's insane. Insane. So they hatch a plan. Daemon, I thought it was a flawed plan. I understand he would be the best person to do it, to make it not fall back on Rhaenyra. But what makes you think that his lover is gonna end his life? So that's why at the end, where you saw that Lena was still alive, he just didn't have his hair, I was like, oh yeah, like that's not surprising to me. Because even the point when he came in and he was like, "You always look down on me," I was like, huh? Who's always looked down on you? Like, in which universe has that nigga ever looked down on you? Like, can we have that conversation? Because I feel like you're just talking on the side of your ass at this point. Just talking out the side of your buttocks. That's how I feel. So that makes sense. I would like to hope that it was all her idea, and that she meant for him to survive, but I definitely think that maybe with Daemon involved, it probably was, on his side of things. And it was all her idea too. Like, can we have that conversation? Like, can we have the conversation that this was all her idea? Like, how? How did you let this happen? I can't believe you've done this. Like, you were just going on about how great of a person he was, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, stone cold, like, you just end his life because who cares, I guess? Like, you know what? It's okay. I don't really have too much to say. All I'll say was the wedding, ew. But okay. The funeral, tension beyond all belief. What happened with the dragons in the middle of all of that? Let's get into that a little bit. Alicent is insane. But we know why. And I guess that does recontextualize everything. She's losing it. But I thought it was really interesting that Rhaenyra said, can't hold up the facade any longer, huh? Can't be fake anymore, huh? And I was just like, damn, like, y'all's relationship has really crumbled. And the way Alicent was just ready to stab a child. And the fact that fucking Otto was so happy about that, like, oh, finally, my daughter is willing to do what it takes. Otto, get out of here. I don't care what nobody says, okay? Littlefinger characters are not my favorite. I understand why they're here for the plot, but, like, I've never endorsed them. Littlefinger's death was so needed for me. Like, and so is Otto's, because no. Alicent, you're getting everything you want. Your father is coming back. Your son has finally grown a set of mild-mannered balls and has taken a dragon. Like, you're getting everything you want. This little petty beef that you have with Rhaenyra because you're jealous that she has more freedom than you is ridiculous. She's the princess and the queen to be. She doesn't necessarily have more freedom than you, but there are certain things, if she plays her cards right, that she'll be able to do. So get over it, Alicent. Nobody cares at this point. Like, I'm losing my sympathy for you a little bit. I'll always have sympathy, but not as much as I did when you were younger. Because at this point, you're just bending to the will of your dad. And this is why I hate Otto. Like, right, like, she was remorseful after everything that happened. Like, she felt her way. She felt like she made a mistake. And then Otto was just there validating her and praising her and pumping her up. Like, sir, get out. Like, I can't stand Otto Hightower. I can't stand him. He just gives me Snake vibes. I don't care if it's for the good of the realm. All the things that have happened without his doing have helped. He's not that useful to me, okay? Whatever. Lord Larys stake his claim, let her know that if she wants another accident to happen, that he's down. And instead of balking, she actually looks at him and says, you know what? Your allyship is greatly needed, and I will let you know about that. So Alicent is going down the road of Wonderland. She's losing her mind. But hey, it'll be more interesting that way, won't it? So that'll be way more interesting to see. Rhaenyra and Daemon are both on this same dark path, so that will be interesting to see. We'll see how she relates to her new stepkids, I guess. You know, we'll see what's happening there, and we'll see how it is. You know, one thing I was thinking about, you know, when you commandeer a thought like this, is that one of the reasons why the original show was so great is literally because there was a section of it that you just couldn't predict. And this show does have that, so that's great. I am more and more excited as the episodes progress. You know, you would think that with all these time jumps, and I have stated that I don't always like these time jumps, but what has been happening is that with these time jumps, I've been enjoying stuff more and more, you know? So with these time jumps, I've been getting more sides of the story that are way more interesting to me. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at this at all. I think it's really good, you know, that this is what is happening with the show. It's really given interesting. I am saying that I'm not really into all the drama all the time, but it's not terrible. I do think that they have made it interesting, and they have made it worth the watch. And so I'm here for that. You know, let's see what else is happening. You know, let's see what else is going to go on in the next episode. I haven't seen it yet because I don't like to be spoiled. Okay, I kind of like to watch it and be shocked. So we're going to see about that, you know. And at this point, that's all I have to say. Okay, I had a lot of thoughts as I was watching it. I'll admit that. However, I don't always have to say everything I think. You know, I just need to give an overall summary and let you get my main points across. Okay? We will see what the fuck going on very soon. Okay? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below. And you have a wonderful day. Goodbye, Simmies. See you soon.